Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So, I think it was about a year ago, I built table lazy Susans and I did a video on it, and they came out great. Well, I have a client who I did a cutting board for some time ago who watched the video and they want a table lazy Susan, but they want the stripes in it like I did on their cutting board. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to abbreviate this video a little bit since you can go back and watch that previous one and really, get more in-depth instruction on how I make table lazy Susans. But I am going to kind of go through the steps here, but just in a little bit more of an abbreviated fashion since it is a fun project and my equipment and shop's a little upgraded since I did that video. So that's what we're going to zip through. I just happened to have all the bits and parts on hand. I had a really pretty piece of curly maple, and I had a couple small chunks of babinga, and of course I had lots of walnut. So the stripes and these were offcuts as well that I hang on to, but they will be a walnut and a padauk in each one, and it should contrast up pretty nice. So this is kind of like combining my cutting board and the table lazy Susan video, except it's not going to be end grain, and the lazy Susan's going to have the stripes. So I'm going to get these glued up, and then we'll start adding stripes. Alrighty, one down, one to go. Okay, we're out of clamps now, and it didn't come out 100% flat, but that's okay because I got to put a couple stripes in here and then we'll flatten it when we're all done. I have a template that I use for my curves, but really any way you can to get a nice natural curve in there is just fine. I've already marked this one, so we're just going to move over to the bandsaw and get that cut. Okay, so I'm going to start with the walnut stripe. Not that it really matters which stripe you start with. And all I'm going to do is glue this up and get it right back into clamps. Alrighty, one down, one to go. Okay, so it's been a few hours. Those are out of clamps. I just used the bandsaw to just trim off the ends. Those are going to get cut away in the circle anyway. And then went right back to my wavy jig and marked for the next line. And I'm just going to go over to the bandsaw now and get these cut out. Okay, and just like before, we'll get these glued up. There it is. One down, one to go. We'll just let that cure up. Okay guys, so I got up a little early this morning, got these out of clamps, and I've marked all my lines on here so I can assess my progress at the drum sander. So all I'm going to do is take these over to the drum sander and start getting these all smoothed out. Some tear out and stuff in here too from the planing process, but curly maple does that. So off to the drum sander next. Okay, so now that we've got them all flat, we just need to find center. Now I can find center by just drawing an X and getting it rough located and then going to the jig on the bandsaw, or I can just use the jig that I cut out of plywood the last time I set the jig up and set it on here and make sure everything is just right where I want it. I don't really need the circle, but what I need is the center. So next up, we'll go to the bandsaw, put these on the circle jig, and get them cut out. Okay, so next up I've got a fairly good sized round over bit in the router table, and I'm just going to round the edges off on this. Okay, I'm just going to get these sanded up to 180. I might go 220, but probably just 180. I'm starting here with 120. Okay, I'm going to get a few coats of armor seal on this. See if we can start finishing these up. Of course, I've started on the bottom, and they're up on painter's pyramids. And I'll flip them over when I get this coat on and do the top sides. This wood is really drinking the armor seal. Okay, and I get a coat on the other one, and I'll let that cure for a little while, and I'll block out with 400 between coats. Okay, so I went ahead and let these cure overnight. And now all I'm going to do is install the hardware, and it's really simple and straightforward. Just center it. I'm going to pilot drill, and I'm going to drive a couple of screws. I'm probably going to put 4 screws in each one, but that's all I'm going to do. Be careful not to drill all the way through your table lazy Suzan. Okay, so I like to use, this is a toolbox tray liner material. I just pick up a roll of it at the big box store, and I always have it on hand. And then I cut out circles that fit the lazy Suzan, and all I'm going to do is just super glue that on. That just helps protect the table from the metal parts here. I'll just set something flat on it, put a little weight on it for a little while, and get the other one done. Okay, well there they are, guys. They turned out great. Client's very happy with them, so that's really the important part. really there's not a lot of money wrapped up in a project like this. The Lazy Susan parts from the big box store I think was about $9, maybe $10. And a whole roll of this stuff I think was $12 or $15. But this will do a whole, I've already done a bunch with this roll. And I just did 2 more and there's still probably 3/4 of that roll left. So a little bit goes a long way and it's always good to have on hand. And of course, lumber of your choice. I use curly maple, babinga, and walnut. And they just happen to be stuff that I had on hand. So, and your lumber prices are going to be different than my lumber prices. So, you know, maybe you have some nice shop scrap, or maybe you want to go buy something and make one that's kind of fancy. That's up to you. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I will show you a few close-up pictures of these that, you know, do it better justice than seeing me clear over here on the camera. But until the next time, guys, take care.